Welcome to today's Gold Show, week 14, with my partner in crime, Paul Brooker, and Goldbuster boys, Adam and James. You'll want to stick around until the end because we'll be announcing the winner of a shining 1 ounce silver coin. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of finance. So let's start with what's going on in the world of gold and precious metals. James, what's the prices at the moment? What's going on out there?
Well, they're on the way back up again, aren't they? It's quite straightforward, really, up and to the right. If you look at the charts, it just hit over $2,700 an ounce again yesterday. So yeah, silver's the ratio between gold and silver has gone back up again over the last few weeks, or before Christmas, really. It's even got as high as 90.
Wow.
So yeah. It was, I think the highs last year were $35 an ounce. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but I think about $5 an ounce. They've come back down to just over about $30 an ounce. But if you look at the patterns, generally when gold does this, then silver lags, and then silver does this eventually. Normally silver overtakes gold in percentage gains. So we're just waiting for the ratio to come back down again, so we can move our metals, move them from silver back to gold again. So yeah, but gold's it had a bit of a pullback before Christmas. It was, and it's in the 2,600. Well, it even dropped down below 2,600 for a brief moment in time, but it's bounced back up again. And since Christmas, it's up. So yeah. What is it today exactly? I'm looking at it now. It's $2,710. So yeah, it's not bad, is it? We started out. Well, I personally started out when it was $1,200 an ounce. So
Wow. So you've been at it a long time now, James. Is your outlook still positive for this year with gold?
Yes, some people talk to us about saying that they think, oh, gold's expensive right now, and I think, oh, should we get in? And I don't think it's expensive at all. When you look at the big picture in the world, which I'm sure Adam will elaborate on in a more, but I don't think it's expensive at all, and I don't think there is a wrong time to get in. I really don't. I think the sooner you get in, the better, rather than being sat on the fence. I still talk to people today that I've spoke to over the last 10 years that have said, oh, it's too expensive. They were saying it back when I started, it was too expensive. I shouldn't get started. Like, well, when do you get started? Just get started, just do it. It's all good. It's all good.
That's an interesting one, because one thing I heard all the business people talk about is indecision is quite possibly the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to just go for it. And if time's on your side, then you can't lose with gold. I'm sorry, you can't. Prove me wrong, because gold only goes up over time. That's the nature of it. Yeah. Adam, am I right in saying this?
Well, we looked the other day, actually, James, talking in British pounds, terms of British pounds.
Oh, yeah.
In 2015, you could have bought an ounce of gold for £700. Mid 2015, something like that. Today, it'd be around £2,200 British pounds for that same ounce. So, I mean, that's over 3 times that it's gone up. Yeah, I mean, those numbers speak for themselves. Obviously, there's ups, downs, and everything's in between. Nothing goes up in a straight line. But when you're looking at a long-term horizon, you can see there over 10 years. I think most people would be happy with that performance. And that's simply if you just buy and hold. That's nothing to do with switching or being smart or employing any of the strategies that we actually employ. That's simply you buy once and you hold it, which is the simplest way of doing it. Do you know what I think people, the emphasis on the world is that you become a generalist, and generalists don't get paid the most. Generalists don't make the most money. The people that make the most are ones that specialize in a really narrow field. For example, Usain Bolt. All we know about him is he can run 100 meters the fastest. We don't know anything else about him. He's not known for anything else. He's specialized in one thing. Yet when it comes to finance, we're told that We have to take a look at the property market. We have to look at the stock market, all the different companies within that. We have to analyze them. We have to analyze precious metals. We have to look at bonds and governments and where do we put our money and pensions and percentages and all this stuff. I don't know, unless you're doing this full time and you've got a team of people with you who can analyze all those things and come out with a clear action plan to actually be profitable. It's overwhelming. What we've chosen to do is to specialize in one very, very niche field and become experts in that one field. And by doing that and by helping others to do that, we've seen people gaining knowledge like never before, and also their profits gone through the roof. And yeah. I think it's a lesson to be learned looking back. For us, is not to try and do everything. You know, we often speak to people and say, you know, I'm thinking about doing a bit of this and a bit of crypto and a bit of gold. We're not against any of those things, but become an expert in one of them and absolutely master it. Master that whole industry and that investment, and you'll do far better than trying to cover all the bases and get the perfect mix and blend and all that kind of stuff.
Staying on the crypto train for a minute, now you've mentioned crypto, Paul, it's exciting times at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, God, isn't it just? And I don't know if you've been under a rock the last few days, but XRP, Bitcoin, they've flown up. Bitcoin's back to $100,000. XRP has gone up even more in the terms of gains. So that's the percentage it's gone up by. And this is all fueled by the great man himself, Donald Trump, getting ready to come back in. You know, XRP was waiting for the SEC appeal. It dropped. No one's worried about it because the price is still going up. And long story short, they just rehashed what they'd already said and then called it an appeal. It's quite funny. And the rumours that are coming out of Camp Trump is that the 21st of January, a day or two afterwards, crypto's going to have a lot more, shall we say, happy outlook. And potentially the SEC case will be dropped a day or two after Trump gets in. So XRP, I am an XRP maximalist. I've done a lot of research on it. I love it. And I'm saying there's plenty of other cryptos out there, but do your own research, because trust me, if XRP can't do it, none of the other ones are going to do it, in my personal opinion. But likewise, you know, we're in a crypto season. We're in a season that we've never been in before because we're getting a pro-crypto president. And that is something quite massive. And we all know if the USA does it, the rest of the world follows suit. And for him to potentially set up a proper crypto division in government that will just streamline this and get business moving is massive. I think it will do wonders for the economy, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well,
Can I ask, have any of you got crypto?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I've got my fingers in many pies. You have to have a diverse portfolio, as they say. So that's exactly what I've done. And it's definitely one for the history books. And they're having a crypto ball as well. Trump isn't going to be there, but there's going to be lots of crypto investors. So that should be quite exciting. I'm sure we'll hear lots of news from there. And let's roll over to the US economy. Adam, what's your intake on what's to come now Trump is coming back in?
I think Trump's message is clear. I think you've got to look at the context as well. This is his second term. So maybe in your first term, you know, a little bit softly, you try and pass things. Maybe you're hit with some resistance. Maybe you listen to the people around you. But second time round, he's had a lot of time to reflect on his first term, to reflect on his decisions, and I think he's gonna come out swinging. He's all about America first, and I think governments should be in place and should act in the best interest of their peoples, in the people in that country. And I think this almost, some of the things that Trump says, people are like, well, that's a crazy thing to say, but he's just looking after the people that voted him in. Like, that shouldn't be a really crazy idea. That's what he's there to do. And I think other countries should do the same and should make the country good for their people. I think Trump, with all of that, I think he's going to come out and he's going to be 100% from day one. I don't think there's going to be any softly or let's see how things go. I think he's going to come out swinging. And yeah, let's see. A lot of people seem to be very positive about what he's going to do. I don't know the inner details. What I do know is obviously he's a businessman. He likes doing deals and he's pro-business. And I think that has to be a good thing. You know, business creates jobs, it creates opportunities, and which creates revenue for the country as well. You know, taxing people within an inch of their life only stifles things. You know, as a business, if you get taxed, then you employ less people. You can put less money into innovation and development and things like that. If you let the market do its thing, yes, people have to pay tax, no problem. But if you let them do their thing and you give them a little bit of leeway, a bit of wiggle room, then they'll employ more people. There's nothing businesses want to do more than develop, employ more people, and grow and expand and innovate. And I think Trump is the man to set that environment and set the scene.
I think he's going to do far better this time round. It was like his first time was just a warm-up. It was a reconnaissance mission. He didn't know who to trust, who he could trust and who he couldn't trust. He knows now, and I think he's got a lot more people looking at it. So I guess I'll follow it a bit more than most people. He's got a lot more people there that he can trust, I think, and his team. Look at his team around him that he's bringing in with him. So it's really exciting, actually, to see how it's going to play out. But, yeah, I think he's looking at just getting people working together. He's all for that. That's what I love about him. He seems to be looking at forming partnerships with countries and rather than trying to pick a fight all the time. Looking for partnerships. And yeah, it's a bit different to the UK. It's complete opposite to the UK, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, well, that was my next point, actually. Going to the UK economy, the pound is down against the dollar.
Yeah.
The UK is doing total opposite to the USA. Are we going down the toilet, Adam?
Yes, is my opinion. And I don't want to be, I hope I'm wrong. I think it's either going to be bad or very bad. I think those are the possible outcomes, and I don't want that to be the case. Yeah. The interesting thing is, in the UK, interest rates on government debt have gone up. And there's not many tools the government has to offset that. So let's say, for example, your interest on your debt is 3%. You've got 2% inflation and 1% growth. You can kind of offset those. So the debt is sustainable, kind of like in your household. You know, if you've got a debt that you've got to pay, but you're earning, and your debt levels and your earning are kind of going in the same direction proportionally, then it's sustainable, and that's how countries run a deficit. With the UK, the interest is starting to surpass what it can produce. So the growth in the economy is not looking good at all. And then you've got this inflation. So you've basically got growth and inflation, and on the other side, you've got interest. So if the interest goes up, you can either increase the growth or increase the inflation, or both, to offset it. These are pretty much your only options. Well, the growth isn't happening. They're taxing people within an inch of their life, so the growth isn't there. So what's the other tool? Inflation. And I think that's what people are going to see. I know we've been banging this drum up for a long time, but I think there's going to be more of it. I think when companies feel more cost, they pass that on to consumers. Somebody has to pay for it. Inflation's bad if you've got cash. That's unfortunately the case. If you've got assets, it's actually quite good. So gold loves inflation. If you look at what's happened through the highest points of inflation, gold's gone up in a very, very dramatic way. And I think it's another crossroads just to say, look, position yourself. Do you want to be holding cash when the inflation hits, or do you want to be holding the metal? One's going to go down, one's going to go up. And keep it very simple. We pick the metal.
Well, speaking about assets, Paul, where's Canada's gold?
Oh, we need to have a little chat about this, because I've had a image cross my desk which paints a very, very scary picture. Now, this is an image in a group that I'm in called Savvy Investor, and they're asking, where's it all gone? Since 2016, Canada has sold off its entire gold reserves. And just reading this, gold reserves in Canada remained unchanged at 0 tonnes in the third quarter of 2024, from 0 tonnes in the second quarter of 2024. Gold reserves in Canada averaged 5.96 tonnes from 2000 to 2024, reaching an all-time high of 46.2 tonnes in the first quarter of 2000 and a record low of 0 tonnes in the first quarter of 2016. And the source of this is the World Gold Council. Canada has nothing backing up their money.
Why would you do the opposite of what everybody else is doing?
Wow.
Depends who's running the show. My thought is, yes, it's left Canada, if that's the case. And what I'd be interested to see is, who's it gone to?
Yeah. Where's it? Yeah.
Because like when you take a loan from the bank, an asset, a liability on one person's balance sheet is an asset on another balance sheet. So I'd be interested to see who, if that's the case, who's now got it.
Yeah. Because your money is only as good as what it's backed up by. Now, if you were to tell me that Canada's got truckloads of oil, I get it. But they don't. And that's the bit that I'm sitting here going, what is backing up their money? Honestly.
Fresh air.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's going to be interesting is in how Greenland plays out with all this, because that's been talked about a lot recently. Trump's talking about buying Greenland, isn't he, or taking over Greenland? They've already got a base there, haven't they? And there's supposedly a vast amount of resources in Greenland. So I'm really, really excited about what goes on with Greenland when he comes back into power. That's another thing to look at, to keep an eye on.
Now, going over to the question of the week. What's the chemical symbol for gold? Now, rolling to Australia. Paul, what's happening in Australia?
Oh, wow. Australia's not doing too well either, which are now starting to materialise. Australian dollar continues to plunge against the US dollar. Here's what the bloodbath means for your mortgage. With the Australian dollar now getting just 61 US cents, its lowest level in 5 years, consumer sentiment is falling and fears over what it means for mortgages are rising. I mean, we all know Australian house prices have been a bit ridiculous for quite a long time. And people are borrowing a lot of money. And this shows me that the Australian economy maybe isn't doing as well as it should. What's everyone's thoughts on this?
I think no surprise with the inflation we've had so far that asset prices have gone up. I think the other thing with property is the people who are, it's usually people outside of the area that pump the prices up, because the people in the area say, oh, I bought this property for 50 grand, 20 years ago, and they've seen it go up to 200 grand, and they say, it'll never go any higher because look where it's come from. Whereas outside people say, yeah, but where I live, that house for 200 grand is a bargain. So it's outside people often coming in going, you can't see the context of how cheap this property is. I think interest rates are going to hurt people. I think it's kind of the double whammy. We've seen it already play out. You have inflation means your money doesn't go any further, and then they hike up interest rates, so then your debt's more expensive. So you get a double whammy. It's not good for anybody. And apparently this is the best option to cool things down and calm them down. And I think what's generally happening when you zoom out is the gap between the haves and the have-nots is just getting bigger. And I think people have a choice to pick which path they want to go on. Assets are only going to keep going up. Can't see that going any other way.
Especially over the long term, mate. They'll take hits like everything else does, but over the long term,
yeah,
you can. We've done a video on this before, haven't we? How to win from inflation, or or inflation is good, I think we titled it. It can be good if you know what you're doing. But you need to be in assets and not in paper, backed by fresh air, backed by nothing. It really is. If you really boil it down to keep it really, really simple, it's swapping cash for assets as much as you can. Assets that are going to at least hold the value over time. And we've chose metals because just look at the numbers, look at how they've performed. It's really quite simple. And we can move between gold and silver with our strategy that we use, and we can make more. Well, many of our customers, it'll be hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands now, actually, Adam. Customers all over the world are doing what we teach, the strategy, and they're making far more metals and far more profits than what you would if you just bought and held them. So look at
Have you guys got any insight on silver?
I mean, like James said, the ratio's been around 90, just a bit below, I think now.
Yeah, it's 88 in the minute today. 88, yeah.
So what that says to us is, if you look historically, the gold-silver ratio's hit 90 like a handful of times, and when it's been there, it's never stayed there very long. What that means as far as what should you do? Well, for us, if we were buying today, we would buy silver, because it means that silver is on sale compared to gold, and you always want to buy what is cheap, what is good value.
Yeah.
If you can get for 1 gram of gold, 88 grams of silver, you're doing really well. So either switching gold to silver or buying silver for us is what we'd be doing right now. And when that ratio drops, we'd be switching our silver to gold, and we'd have more gold than we started with or could have had. So, and you can do that many times over and over again, and it compounds and grows. And that's what we do and teach.
Yeah. I spoke to a customer, Drew, yesterday. And she said that she only wanted gold. She didn't want silver or anything else. She just wanted gold. And I explained this exact same thing to her. And guess what? Now she's buying silver. And when the ratio drops, she's going to switch it to gold and keep it in gold then. But she'll have more gold than what she would have had if she just bought gold today. Very, very clever tool.
And I guess that's the case if people don't want to keep switching. You can say, look, yes, you want gold today. That's fine. But if you buy silver today and then switch to gold in the future, you can have more gold than what you could have had if you just bought gold. You know, I guess keep it really simple. Do you want 100 grams of gold today, or do you want 110 in the future? And obviously people want the 110. And by simply buying silver and switching, you can do that. You can do it multiple times.
Now, over to the competition. Today's winner is H. Hernandez. Congratulations, you have won a free 1 ounce silver coin. For those of you that want the opportunity to win, watch our latest video. Go to our website, thegoldshow.com/competition, and answer the question. If you've entered the competition previously, please check your emails for a winning announcement. There are still a few of you that still need to claim. Now, ending the show, we have 2 personalities that are dynamic and known for their engaging approach to gold investment. Adam and James have been guiding individuals on how to protect and grow their wealth through the timeless asset. So stay tuned as we uncover the secrets of gold, enduring value, explore market trends, and answer your burning questions about why gold might be the ultimate financial safeguard. So if you do have any future questions, please email us at questions@thegoldshow.com. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and we will see you next week.
No problem at all, Drew. You take care.
Bye.